Welcome to the High Rankings podcast, brought to you by Dispensary-Growth, the preeminent SEO agency only working with premium cannabis dispensaries. In our episodes, we bring you the most up-to-date strategies and tools for your dispensary's SEO game plan so that you can reach the top of the search engine rankings and capitalize on your growing organic traffic to increase your sales. A light-hearted mix of our daily lives and SEO knowledge will leave you laughing and informed so that you keep coming back for the next episode. Well, hello. Welcome back. Happy New Year. We are officially 7 days into 2025 as we are recording our first podcast of the year. I'm not ready to get back to normal life, to be honest with you, but here we are. So we're both back.
Here we are being grown-ups.
Here we are, yeah, back to real life reality. Yeah, me. And yeah, that's basically where we're at. So welcome back. We're very happy to have you back here. What's new with you? Anything exciting?
Well, yeah, New Year's was awesome. We went to, so not like a big party or anything that we went to. So my buddy, he lives about 20 minutes north of me. He throws a good-sized party every year, and they just get crippled. Every single year, just get absolutely blasted.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to do that this year. I did not want to. So we did not go to that. I hit him up. I texted him beforehand. Just kind of gave him a heads up. He's like, yeah, dude, no problem. I guess they had a long night, which is fine with me. I wasn't there. I want to get some sleep. So we went to grab some dinner beforehand, watch the Avs game. They got a new goalie who is a savage in the net. So stoked that they got this new goalie. He's a beast. I was so happy when they got him. And it's working out. He is crushing it right now. And watched the Avs game. We had dinner that night, and then we went to a neighborhood bar of a buddy of mine, and we did the countdown and everything. And come like 11:30, 11:15, I was just I'm ready to go home. Like, I'm so old. Like,
Yep.
Let me have like one glass of champagne and then just call it a night. So ball dropped. Everybody's cheering. Yeah, okay, cool. And then like 12:05, I got my Uber and I just buzzed home. And so that was cool. A lot of kids. When I say kids, I mean like mid-20s. A lot of kids were at that bar. And I'm just like, man, I feel old. I just feel like so old now. Just kind of like looking around and I'm like half asleep. I'm like kind of dozing off, And I'm just sitting there with friends that are like roughly our age. Like, I just want to get the hell out of here and go to sleep. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Yeah, holidays were good. Coolest thing I got for Christmas was tools for my bike. My nephew got me some tools, which is awesome. I needed those. So I had a good holiday season, had a good New Year's, and what was the coolest thing I did? Let's see. We did go up to the mountains. That was pretty cool. Nothing better than mountain snow. If you ever decide to leave Florida, we're going to go back to the mountains and check out some snow.
Okay.
Mountain snow is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we do? Yeah, getting back, just being more active. I did play hockey for the first time in about a year. A couple of days ago, and my body is still like my lower back. It's like I'm not as flexible as I used to. I used to be able to do like the clean splits, and now I'm just like old. Yeah, I can't do that anymore. A couple of the guys at the ski was like, dude, like when's the last time you were here? I was like, it's been like a year since I've been here. That was cool. Caught up with them. That was a Sunday morning skate. Kind of Bambi legged it at first like 20 minutes out there. I think some of the guys were laughing. Picked it up pretty quick. It was fun to be out there again. So I'm going to start skating again and just, again, being more active. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just be more active and obviously some work stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And prepping to crush 2025.
2025. Insane that we're here, but here we are.
How about you, Kaz? Thoughts? What did you
Mm.
do during the break? Keep it concise, too, because we only have so much time.
Well, so New Year's Eve, we went out for dinner, like an early dinner with a group of friends that we get together with quite often. And then we came home and we were just at home because we're old. And then the same group of friends had got together a few days before that and just had like a game night and food and stuff at one of the houses.
What games?
It's called Screw Your Neighbor. You use cards, I don't know, and dollar bills. It's fun. We play it like every year we get together. It's fun. I almost won this time too. I was like, there was two of us left, and I was one of them.
Have you seen that movie, by the way? Game Night?
No.
It's kind of like a low-key. Jason Bateman's in it. It's really funny. It's really, really good. Jason Bateman plays Jason Bateman, yeah. The character he always plays.
Yeah.
Great movie.
I
Very
haven't
fun.
heard. We also went out to dinner with other friends. I had family over for Christmas. I went to IKEA to buy. I desperately need more bookshelves, but I don't have any space in my house. So I bought more shelving for the bookshelves so I can like rearrange and put more books on the bookshelves I do have. If anybody remembers or is keeping track of how many books I read, remember there was the should I just stop at 99? Because my husband was like waiting for me to get to 100. I didn't. I got to 104. And then yeah, I
Is that
didn't
the
read.
most in 1 year you've done?
I think so. Yeah, I didn't read it all the last like day or so. I don't think. Yes, I got to 104. What else did we do? I bought more books because why would I not? We've been helping our youngest learn how to drive, which
Oh,
is
how's that going?
actually pretty well. Today was their first day back at school, and my husband happens to not be working today, so he had her drive all the way to school, which I was like impressed because it wasn't that long, like a less than a week ago, she wasn't trying to get out of a car park. She was happily just staying in a car park and just driving around there. So when he picks her up from school, I think she'll be driving home, which is cool. She won't be
You
able to get.
changing lanes yet?
I don't know. I don't think so. I gotta ask him. No, she did yesterday. That's right. She did yesterday. But she won't be able to get her actual license until like the very beginning of October. So it's good because like she's got all these months to just practice and get really familiar and like more comfortable, So yeah, we just had a somewhat quiet Christmas at home. We just had some family over and stuff. I popped to a friend's house, a friend of mine, and we're planning a trip to Savannah next month. So just a lot of like downtime with like friends and family, really, which honestly is basically what I like the holidays for. Read a lot of books, that kind of stuff. I'm going away this weekend for a couple of days to Ohio, where they had like, I don't know how many inches of snow, but it was a lot. They had like snow plows out and all kinds of stuff for the last couple of days. So I'm heading up there for a quick weekend getaway. And then it's birthday month for me.
Oh.
Me. But I'm still wondering what you're getting. So
Anyway, moving on.
that's a big
So,
nothing.
thinking of taking a trip to like North Carolina. So my girlfriend's her birthday is this month. Well, it's coming up here pretty quick, and we're thinking of taking a trip there, like Raleigh or something. It'd be cool. She's from the area of Raleigh, and it would be cool to go to see Hurricanes game there.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about that, but yeah, she was kind of not sad, just like saying it's a bummer to have a birthday in January just because it's
Yeah.
post holidays, dry January. People are trying to the whole health and fitness, which I think you should.
Save money. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like she would always go to like a bowling alley growing up, or like a football game or something, and it just wasn't the same. Because I vividly remember attendance in those months, like in mid January, was like maybe 70%, and then you go to like November and they're like 90%. And she was just saying it's just not the same. So we were just kind of throwing around some ideas for her birthday.
Yeah, it is kind of hard because like, and I know she's the same as me. Like we would never like expect anybody or ask anybody or whatever to buy us gifts or get us gifts, right? It's not even about that. It's just even if you just wanted to like do dinner and get together, it feels like
Mm.
you're asking a lot because people have just come off an expensive month. They've probably had more dinners than they care to. They've probably overeaten more than they care to because it's the holidays, right? And then along comes your birthday, and you're like, hey, like I said, even if it's not a gift that they're buying, you still want them to come and like maybe do dinner or something. So
Yeah.
it still feels like, yeah, it kind of oh, like she said, they're either dry January or they're in a no buy January or they've, yeah, January birthdays suck. But also, like one of my good friends, her birthday is like the very end of November. This year it was like the day before Thanksgiving. And I imagine hers is not a whole lot better,
On a Black Friday. Yeah, that's
like this year it fell the day before Thanksgiving. This year.
Green Wednesday. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
well. That actually that'd be kind of fun. Well, I say that because it's not my birthday. Mine's October 1st. I know you have a circle, but it's not bad for me. I mean, for her that's kind of rough. Yeah, that's I can see
Yeah.
that. That's kind of
So,
rough.
but you know what? Well, who cares? It's a birthday. We get older. We
Anyway,
spend time. Well, so it's fine. But this year for my birthday, I've asked my husband to pay for the bread and breakfast that we're going to stay at in Savannah because it's not cheap, but it's haunted.
Hmm.
It's the one that we saw when we were in Savannah and we did that that ghost tour thing at nighttime. It's that exact inn where he was telling us about. We were stood on the other side of the street.
You're staying in that?
Yes,
Why?
because it's fun.
No.
Listen, I know for a
Fuck
fact
off. No.
that your girlfriend would 100% be up for that. 100%. I don't even need to ask her. I know she would be. She would 100% stay in there with me. That
Yeah,
without doubt.
she
She'd
would
not
do
even
it, yeah.
be packing her stuff and coming. Like, yeah, it's
She'd
gonna be,
freak out, but she would do it.
yeah, 100%. I know she would. You're the baby. You're the one that's like, no.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to stay in a fucking room that I know is haunted. Why would I do
I
that?
don't know if that exact room is haunted. Just that whole building is.
That's even worse.
I know it's exciting.
No, fuck off. I've seen Blair. Actually, Blair Witch is trash.
It is.
I've seen, like, looking back on it, it's the dumbest fucking movie. Like, some guy staring at the wall and a bunch of people screaming, something about a map.
And just
like,
the camera right up your nostrils, like.
Yeah, like, what a dumb fucking movie. Although the brilliant campaign, by the way.
It was great. Marketing was solid. Yeah.
What was that movie? It was like shot with a bunch of GoPros in the room. Paranormal Activity.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, really? That just popped in my head too. I'll have to send you. You've read all these books. We haven't seen these. Well, okay, I guess that makes sense. I'll send you the previews. It's like this movie, Paranormal Activity. It's a scary movie. As the name suggests, Paranormal Activity, and it's shot with like GoPros in like bedrooms around the house. So it's supposed to be like real footage. And my roommate, was super emotional. He's just always been a very emotional guy. My old roommate, very very emotional guy, and he didn't know that the movie was fake. So for like a month, when he saw the movie, he like couldn't sleep. And I vividly remember he was just getting like worse and worse and worse because he wasn't sleeping because he thought this movie was real. When you see the movie, you think it's real. It's like, wow, this is fuck. Somebody just gets dragged out of a bed, and there's like claw marks, and wooden floors, and windows are breaking, and I mean it's kind of fucked. But I just think of that in my head of like scary stuff. I don't know why somebody would stay there in the first place if it's even
Because it's
if there's
fun.
even the idea that it might be haunted.
I mean, the whole of Savannah is, definitely spooky. So,
Anyway,
never know. But anyway, so that's going to be my birthday gift from my husband. He's going to pay because it's not cheap, obviously, because you're literally right in historic. It's on one of the squares. So, yeah.
Is it across from a cemetery? Is it that one?
It's very close to the cemetery. It's not across from it, but it's like really close. It's like super close. The Mercer House and the bookstore I love and the cemetery. It's all in that little area. Oh, and the coffee shop and stuff. Yeah, it's all there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But anyway, on to what we're here to discuss, which is not the fact that you're a big baby and want to stay in a haunted hotel.
Anyway, what episode are we on?
We're on episode number 89, or episode 1 of 2025, however you would like to look at that.
Season
3.
Season 3, episode 1.
Yeah. I think we stopped counting.
We got renewed.
We did. I love how easy we get renewed. Now we just need some advertisers and we'll be solid. Some influencer deals.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what I would like. Yeah, I don't know what I would get to be sponsored. Like you see all these people on social media and they're like, hey, buy this bag. It does great things. And then they get paid a shit. Like,
no.
But anyway, yeah, fine. Preferably something good like Kava or Chipotle. Well, I don't care about Chipotle, but you like Chipotle.
I was thinking food. That'd be all right. Or maybe like a delivery service.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Oh my God. Could you imagine if you got sponsored by like DoorDash or Uber or something?
That's why I sent you that commercial the other day.
Yeah.
Out of my way, you pigeons. I about dropped my phone. I was laughing so hard. The Brian Cox.
Yeah.
I sent Kaz, so for context, I sent Kaz the Brian Cox Uber Eats commercial. He's just a raging prick.
Oh, so
and I was dying laughing when he told those pigeons to get out of his way. Anyways.
With Uber Eats, yeah, if Uber Eats would like to sponsor this, you'd be solid. I would see none of that sponsorship. You would eat that all up.
Yeah.
Ended. All right. Anyway, episode 89 or season 3, episode 1, however you care to look at it. Today, we are talking about how to optimize your dispensary menus for local search success. That is the topic of today's podcast. I know we've talked about menus before. I know for sure we've talked about iframe menus before, and we've definitely touched on like what the menu on your website before and why having that set up properly is important. So we're going to take a bit of a dive into that in terms of your local search and why it matters specifically for your local search. So I'm going to start off with you explaining or just giving a brief overview of like what the menu is and how a menu helps with your search rankings.
Yeah, a menu, it's getting your inventory on the web. So when somebody, let's just say you're in Denver, somebody searches wedding cake strain Denver, you want your individual wedding cake product page to be at the top of Google. And there's ways to optimize that, whether you're on Dutchie, Jane Boost, Mosaic, whatever it is. There's ways to do that to get it to the top of Google so that one, ultimately, you increase your sales, but you increase the amount of customers find your dispensary, come into your dispensary and shop online. So it's increasing the amount of customers find your online menu.
Perfect. Okay, so the gist of what a menu is and how it can help you if you set it up properly and do it correctly, how it helps you with your local searches. Also, I know this is sort of off topic, but not really. What matters when it comes to your menus and how helpful they are is the structure of your URL, correct? For every part of your menu. Like it has to flow properly and make sense. And we talk about like the filing cabinet all the time. So when you're setting up your menu, you need to make sure that your URLs are also set up correctly and optimized. Otherwise, you're doing half the job.
Right. So it should be www.dispensary.com/Colorado dispensary/Denver dispensary /Denver dispensary menu, whether that's your Dutchie page or your Jane Boost page, and then not an iframe, and have that embedded on that specific page. And then that page should then be tied into your Google business profile.
Right. Oh,
yeah. That answers that question.
Yeah. No, you did. And again, to reiterate, when we talk about the Google business profile, if you have multiple locations, each location needs to go to the specific location page on your Google business page. So if you have one in, I don't know anything about Denver, but like North Denver and South Denver, you would have a location page. So you'd have Colorado as your state, then you'd have, your location page, and then you need to make sure that your GMB for the right location hits the right location page for that particular dispensary. Which weirdly enough, I've seen it like not with us or with our clients, but I do see where locations of stores or businesses, they'll have more than one and their GMB will just hit a generic homepage and not. I think I pay attention
to it all the time.
Yeah, because I know really how it should be done to optimize your SEO. Now I like notice it more. It's like when you buy a specific car in a color, now you notice that car all the time on the road.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing, like you see it all the time. But if you want to optimize for local SEO, then that's how you need to do it. So
your GMB's got to tie it in. And then also you need to have your menu, your specific menu URL tied into the online ordering section of your GMB, so that when a customer looks at the GMB, they search like dispensary near me or purple haze strain Denver, your GMB pops up. If it's not your product page, it's a GMB, and then there's a little section that says order, and then it has your menu URL right then. So have that dialed in.
Okay, so things that you need to make sure that you're including in these menus, again, all of this is with the idea that you're optimizing for as best you can. Things that you're going to need for sure is make sure that your product names are accurate. If you're doing product pages, have unique SEO descriptions, meaning you write your descriptions yourself, obviously using keyword research, because that's what's going to make you stand out. If you just use the generic descriptions that, are given through the grower or a menu, this going to be the same thing that everybody else is using, so you're not going to stand out.
Yeah, it all pulls from the same database. So like if you're in Denver and you're using like Dutchie, like your POS and menu, like it pulls from the same database, meaning your neighbor, your competitor 6 blocks away is using the exact same setup, that description is going to be exactly the same. So it's like, okay, well, how do you get on top of Google? And you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. It's a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah. And it can be quite time consuming in order to do these, but it does pay off in the end. We've literally seen it pay off like almost in
hours.
Yeah, it's been skyrocketing. And we were like, oh, is this right? But no, it was right. It just stands out. So, you got to do the hard work, but when you do it, it really does pay off. So
with the products, yeah. I mean, what you'd want to go into Google Analytics. Well, Dutchy and Jane have the info as well, like a click-through rate, what products sell the best, or sell the most, highest volume. And then you can go in and you customize those so that those will move. That's as I like to say, the low-hanging fruit. And then you can go to the ones that aren't quite moving the way you want them to, and you can optimize them as far as keyword content, just content. You can optimize those in a similar way because they'll work to the top of Google. And you'll be ready to sell through those quicker.
Yep. Also, make sure you have images that you have added tags to your images, that you have the images are the correct size. Your images are condensed so that they're not taking up way too much bandwidth on your pages. But for sure,
Google is going to index 50,000 of these, right? So you're like, you don't want these to be loading slow or anything like that. You want to make it as easy as possible for Google to get these at the top.
Yeah, and you can use is it Tiny URL? I think it is.
Tiny URL. You can upload them. There's options. From your POS, obviously, but it's best to use like compressed images.
Yeah, for sure. Also, like within your menu, make sure your categories are like obvious and that they're clear. So, for example, edibles, concentrates, flour, vapes. Think about it like you want it like idiot proof for people who are on your page who are looking for something in particular. Whether they're looking to learn something, whether they're looking to buy something, make sure that it's really easy for them to navigate. So you want very clear but concise categories, headers, anything that people are going to use to move around and navigate your website, clear and concise, but obviously done with the keyword research in mind.
Yeah, and usually those, like I'm looking at a dispensary that we work with, their Dutchy setup, like that's all, the category header, like that's all done for you. So you can just take those and then embed those on different sections of your website, like your city pages or whatever it is. But that's generally pretty clean and done for you, which is good. That is very important.
So obviously we've talked about all of that, but like, how do we frame that with local SEO in mind? Like what would we do in order to make that, to optimize that for local? Because that, could apply across the board, literally anything, but how do you really hone in on the fact that you're really trying to hit those local searches?
So you'd want to find your most popular strains, like let's just say wedding cake strain. And you want to find a handful of keywords, like ancillary keywords, like here, I'll do this right now. So I like using SEMrush. Let's go wedding cake strain. You asking how to do it?
I'm saying like, what's the best way to optimize those menus specifically for local searches, for local?
Okay. Yeah. So optimizing those individual pages will pop up in local search because a customer will search for wedding cake strain Denver, and that's where you want your Denver inventory to pop up. Okay. So you do that by using unique keywords. So like if we're trying to rank for wedding cake strain, you want to do wedding cake strain, auto wedding cake strain, looks like it's popping up, wedding cake wheat strain, wedding cake strain leafly. You probably leave that one out. Why is wedding cake strain so popular? Wedding cake strain effects. You got to be careful of that one. What strain is wedding cake? So when you do the research based on like volume, that's a separate process. But once you have your set keyword inventory, then you can come up with some copy to put on the page on that specific wedding cake strain page in your POS. Yeah. And then that's how that gets optimized for local searches. So that when somebody, again, searches wedding cake strain Boulder, your wedding cake product page is at the top. And then on there, if it's optimized properly, it's your unique summary of the strain. And then it also has the GMB and name, address, phone number, the NAP, embedded on that parent page as well. So that's probably a separate topic to talk about, but everything, is cohesive. You have your technical dialed in, your content, and your backlinks. That's how you get to the top of Google. So everything just ties together.
I'm going to ELI5 this, right? So it's not that the menu itself is optimized for local, meaning you're not going to go and pull down a drop down menu and it say products in Denver, Colorado. It's just going to be like products, and then it will be, flour, concentrates, whatever. It's not that the actual verbiage of the menu itself is optimized for local. It's the content within those pages that's optimized for local searches.
Right. And then the rest of your domain, well, not necessarily domain, the rest of the section of the domain is optimized for local. And then you have local backlinks and all that.
Yeah, but because you've done the technical work in setting up the menus properly, the URLs properly, because you've got the technical foundation done correctly in order for Google to be able to scan those pages effectively, because you've already done like that foundation, now you're building the house, which is your local SEO and the content on the page. That's together like makes that house.
Yeah. You built the basement and the main level and the first floor and the second floor. Then you can just add floors on top of the floors that you've already built.
Yeah. But if you didn't have your URLs weren't correctly done, if you hadn't set up your state and local pages, etc., then any local SEO you may be doing is not going to be as effective at moving up on the Google pages because you haven't got the foundation done properly.
Exactly. And then that gives opportunity for your competitor to just come in and do it properly and take those customers.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I wanted to make double sure that we were getting out there. Okay. So what the hell is schema? Because I know what it looks like, and I've done it and I've put it on pages, right? So I know.
You know what it is.
I know. Here's the thing. I don't. I'm not even lying. You've walked me through how to come up with the schema. You've walked me through how to put a schema on a page when we're putting a page live on a website, right? So that bit, but I don't know, what does it actually do?
Schema is data of data. So schema tells search engines what this e-commerce product is, what the ratings are, like user ratings. Sometimes, like if you search for a strain in Boulder, sometimes you'll get like a user rating, like a 5-star rating or something available at this dispensary. This dispensary closes at 9 p.m., something like that. And that's all shown on the Google search result. So schema is data of data. So what's the data of the data that it's displaying? That could be something about the dispensary. That could be something about obviously the strain. Users also purchase strains like this, that kind of thing. Schema is data of data, and you can input it on a page. Go to technicalseo.com. It's a schema markup generator. So what you do is there's open fields, and it says like, what kind of schema do you want to create? And then you say it's a local business. And then it comes up like, what's the name? What's the URL? What's the phone number? Price range of products, zip code, address. What are the hours? Stuff like that. And then you put all that on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, it spits out code. And you take that code, which is what the website reads and Google reads. You take that code and you put it on the web page. Each location should have its own schema because it's its own set of data.
I guess I still don't understand why we need it, but what happens if you don't put schema on the page?
If you don't have schema on a page, you're not really telling search engines, more importantly, your customers, about the data on that page. So for like a blog, let's see somebody searches like how to roll a blunt. And if there's schema on the page about that blog post, when somebody searches how to roll a blunt, it's going to say the schema on that search result, on the search result page, on the Google page, is going to say, in these 5 steps, you can roll this here, and then here's some information about this dispensary. And so if you think about it from a product perspective, it can be like, it's this many ounces, it's this size, it's like a quarter ounce, it's this price, it's available at this dispensary, and this dispensary closes at 9 p.m. And it's data of data is what it is. So it's displaying like quick hit data on the result page, Google result page.
And you do schema for every page?
You do schema on every city page, and hopefully your menu provider generates schema automatically for each product page.
Okay. So schema is essential.
Yes.
It feels a bit nerdy.
Some don't. Some like we see it missing a lot. There's a Google tool you can use, like a schema validator. Just Google schema validator. Paste in the URL of the page, and then it'll tell you if it's good or not. But no, schema is very important for local SEO.
It definitely feels a little nerdy. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's because you said data of data, and when you say data, my brain just switches off, you know.
Data of data is
I'm
basically
like, oh,
what
that's
it is. Yeah.
a whole new level of something that we all know how I feel about data. It's essential and I respect it, but I don't like it.
I don't think you like anything.
That's not true. That's not true. I like some things.
Anyway,
Coffee, books. There we go.
that's about it.
Tea. Been drinking tea like a fiend lately. I drink so much tea when it's cold. But anyway, moving on. Okay, so we touched about this like right at the beginning of the episode about integrating your menu with your Google business profile. That's the correct name for it. I know we called it a GMB. I don't know if we'll ever not call it a GMB because that's just what it was for so long, but your Google business profile. We talked about how it's really important that if you have multiple locations, that you have a state page and then locations page, and that you do a GMB or a GBP for each location page, and that the website listed on there it takes you to the corresponding page on your website for that location. We've talked about that many times over many different podcasts. That's like 101 of, setting up local SEO. And if you do it, it's a massive missed opportunity. So, and even if you only have one location, we've talked about this before, even if you're a one location dispensary, you still want a state page and then locations.
Yeah, you're telling Google exactly what this this arm of the website is about. It's about Colorado dispensary, and inside of Colorado, it's located in Denver. And this dispensary, here's everything about Denver in like Capitol Hill. Let's just say just outside of downtown, there's a big library. It's these restaurants. Here's the parking lot, as unique as possible with local schema. Oh, and by the way, here's our menu.
And as we were just discussing, we come across it all the time where we see businesses with multiple locations and they haven't done that. So then what happens is your person that's looking for you, bike shop in Tampa, Florida, for example, or ABC Bike Shop in Tampa, Florida. Now they're clicking onto the main page, the homepage of your website. Now they've got to navigate themselves around your website to find the location, or they've got to put in, their zip code and find which one's nearest to you. Versus, if you only had one location in Tampa and then you had one location in Clearwater, they want the Tampa one, they can just click on the website that comes up on the Google business profile and it takes them to the nearest one without them having to do anything. Which I know it sounds so petty, like, oh, I've got to type in my zip code. But just sometimes when you've got to do that, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, like you want to remove the friction because let's be honest, like people are lazy.
Yeah.
If they're just going to search like bike store Denver, I'm going to look at like the top 3. And if you make it really hard for Google and your customers, like you're not going to get that bottom of the funnel customer inside your doors.
100% agree. 100%. Yeah. You got to make that as easy as possible.
Easy as freaking possible.
Because we're lazy, and as a society, we have much less of an attention span than we ever used to have.
Yeah, exactly.
We are very impatient, like it's talk about the old microwave analogy. If people get a microwave meal and it's like 10 minutes, like 10 minutes in a microwave,
We should have started 10 minutes ago. I'd have the food ready right now.
I know, versus 90 minutes in a regular oven, we're just very impatient people and we want things now and we want them easy and like idiot proof. That's definitely another reason. And also, once somebody's landed on your GMB and they've, navigated to where they need to for the first time, they'll remember that for the next time. Like you remember web pages that are awful to navigate. You can't find anything. It doesn't like your location for whatever reason. Like you remember those and you kind of avoid them. But the same goes for like the positive websites that you land on. So that's really important.
Yeah, you're telling a very, very clear. You're sending a very clear message to you. You have a modern website with all your shit together on that website versus fucking website from like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. That's slow. That's not mobile responsive. You're sending a very, very clear message to your potential customers.
100%. And then obviously you have to track how this is working out for you, which we talk about all the time, which is data, which for me is like, ugh. But it's gnarly important. Like data is like the most important thing because the data is going to tell you if you're on the right track, if you're on the wrong track. It's going to tell you which pages are performing, which ones aren't. So you can either go do some A/B testing, or you probably would You could run an audit and find out exactly what's wrong with that page. So if you're not setting up your website to make sure it's capturing all of that data, that's a sad state of affairs. We have run into clients or potential clients that don't have their website set up for data, and it can be a real hindrance. And it's also the client is not understanding, the efforts that they've put into thus far, how good those efforts have paid off or how they haven't paid off. So I joke about data. It is not my thing. And while I don't enjoy it, I fully, fully respect how important it is. We got nothing really without the data. Because even if you miraculously find yourself at the top of the SERP, right? Like if you've done 3 months of SEO and you're at the top of the page, and woohoo, that might not necessarily be reflected in an increase in income.
Right.
You hope it is,
Right.
and you anticipate that it will be, but there's one surefire way of knowing if it is.
Good old data. That's why it's important to wire up Google Analytics with your e-commerce provider.
Yep.
So if you go to Google Analytics, you go into reports. From reports, you go into acquisition. Then acquisition, you go into sessions. Then you can see the different arms of the website, like organic search, SEO, organic search, direct referral, email. If you're doing display, that'll be there. You can see the revenue that each arm is making you, and you want to track that. Also, some local SEO tools would be like a local Falcon, the grid reports, which are pretty cool. You can also look at your competitors with the grid reports. And then, of course, SEMrush, you want to track, how you're ranking for like dispensary near me, weed near me, different strains in your city where you're located. And then, of course, Search Console. Search Console that's probably the go-to, because to me, that's kind of the end-all be-all of organic performance.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that's it. I think we've
covered
covered
everything. I think we did.
And if we haven't, you can always ask us. You can find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. You can shoot us a DM with a question in it. You can leave us a comment. You can subscribe. You can like. You can give us a review. Those are all the places you can find us. We are back to our regular scheduling. New year, new me, sort of. Not really.
What's new about it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not really into that hype. I think you just set yourself up for failure a lot of times, and who needs that, right? But anyway, we'll be back. If there's anything specific you would like us to do a podcast on, or any guests you would like us to try and get on, let us know. Shoot us a message, and we will be happy to oblige. In the meantime, have a great week. Wrap up warm. I know there's lots of parts of this country that are currently dealing with some really cold temperatures and a lot of snow. So stay safe, and we'll be back next week with a whole new episode for you.
Peace.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the High Rankings podcast, brought to you by Dispensary-Growth, the preeminent SEO agency for dispensaries. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you found value in the insight and the tips we shared. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. And if you're feeling super generous, we would love it if you left us a review. If there's a specific topic you'd like us to cover in a future episode, or if you have any questions, you can go ahead and find us on LinkedIn or YouTube. We'll see you next time.